Everyone here is angry that foreigners hold more power than we do. They make the rules and we're forced to follow them. That makes me angry, and it angers all Congolese.
It's quite evident that the aid is in fact not coming from the West to Africa, but from Africa to the Western world. The Western world depends on Africa in every possible way.
Before we talk about numbers, minerals, or rankings, let's start with something simple. Africa is the most naturally gifted continent on Earth. Under its soil lie gold, diamonds, oil, uranium, cobalt, copper, lithium, graphite, resources that power phones, cars, airplanes, factories, energy grids, and even the future of artificial intelligence. Yet most people around the world have no idea which African countries hold this wealth, how much they hold, or why these resources matter so much in 2025. They hear words like cobalt or rare earth minerals, but they don't realize that entire global industries cannot survive without them. That's why today, we are breaking it down clearly. Which African countries actually possess the most valuable natural resources in 2025? Let's find out. Before we dive into rankings or individual countries, we need to understand the scale of what we're talking about, because Africa's natural resource wealth is not just impressive, it is world-defining. The continent holds some of the most important minerals and energy deposits needed for global survival today. We're not talking about luxury items or optional commodities. We're talking about the raw materials that keep modern life running. Africa contains roughly 30% of the world's mineral reserves, 40% of global gold, nearly 90% of chromium and platinum, and massive deposits of cobalt, copper, diamonds, uranium, lithium, graphite, and rare earth elements. Every part of modern civilization, from smartphones to satellites, from electric cars to renewable energy systems, requires resources that Africa possesses in extraordinary quantities. Yet despite this, most people outside Africa cannot name even 5 African countries that dominate this wealth. They don't know which nation controls the minerals that power EV batteries, which one supplies uranium to nuclear plants, which one fuels global oil markets, or which one sits on gemstone deposits found nowhere else on Earth. That's the purpose of this ranking, to expose clearly and simply which African countries hold the world's most valuable natural resources and why they matter right now. The world's dependence on Africa has intensified in the last decade. Renewable energy, electric vehicles, battery manufacturing, industrial metals, aerospace technology, and AI hardware all require materials taken largely from African soil. As Western nations and China race for technological dominance, the countries quietly controlling cobalt, coltan, uranium, platinum, and lithium suddenly hold more geopolitical influence than ever before. But there's another layer. Africa's demand for sovereignty over its own resources is rising sharply. Countries are renegotiating mining contracts, expelling exploitative corporations, building new refineries, and pushing for local processing instead of exporting raw materials. This shift means Africa is no longer just a supplier. It is positioning itself as a power center in the global industrial future. Understanding which countries lead this shift is crucial to understanding where Africa and the world is headed. Our journey through the top 10 begins with a country that is not just resource-rich, it is indispensable. A single nation whose minerals are so critical that removing it from the global supply chain would instantly cripple entire industries. A country whose cobalt and coltan sit inside every phone, every laptop, every electric car battery, every renewable energy storage system. A country whose geological blessings and geopolitical complexity make it both powerful and vulnerable at the same time. So if the world depends on Africa, and Africa depends on these top 10 nations, then the question naturally becomes, which African country stands at number 1, the nation whose resources are so essential that the world simply cannot function without them? The answer is the Democratic Republic of Congo, the most resource-critical nation on Earth. When people say the world cannot function without Africa, they are usually talking about the DRC, even if they don't realize it. No other country on the planet holds minerals that are so essential, so non-replaceable, and so deeply embedded in global technology. Start with cobalt. The DRC supplies roughly 1/3 of the world's total cobalt. and in some years, close to 70%. Cobalt is not optional. Without it, electric vehicle batteries fail, energy storage collapses, and the entire global push for renewable power stalls. Every EV manufacturer, from Tesla to BYD to European automakers, depends on cobalt, and nearly all of that cobalt comes from Congolese soil. Now look at coltan, the mineral that keeps smartphones, computers, gaming systems, and medical devices running. The DRC holds around 70% of the world's supply, making it the single most important source for capacitors used in nearly every modern electronic device. If Congolese coltan vanished tomorrow, the global electronics industry would slow to a crawl within weeks. Then there's copper, crucial for wiring, electric grids, and industrial machinery. The DRC produces more copper than most countries in the world, thanks to vast copper belts stretching across Katanga. Pair that with massive diamond reserves, some of the largest on Earth, and you get a country whose natural wealth sits at the center of multiple trillion-dollar industries. But the DRC's influence goes beyond mineral quantity. It is the type of minerals that matters. Congo isn't rich in random metals. It is rich in critical minerals, the exact materials Western nations, China, and emerging economies fight over. Not because they want them, but because they need them to survive in the modern economy. And now, in 2025, the stakes are even higher. The newly strengthened peace deal with Rwanda has stabilized several conflict-prone mining regions. As a result, mining companies, especially Western, American, and European firms, are moving in aggressively, scaling exploration, opening new projects, and negotiating long-term supply deals. The global race for battery dominance is happening in real time, and Congo is the battleground. But here's the paradox. Despite this overwhelming mineral advantage, the DRC still struggles with infrastructure, political instability, and historic exploitation. Its wealth is both a blessing and a curse, a source of power, but also a source of foreign interference. This is why analysts describe Congo as the Saudi Arabia of the electric vehicle age, not because of oil, but because of minerals no other nation can replace. Still, Congo doesn't stand alone. Another African country has built something Congo hasn't, a full industrial mining system with refineries, smelters, deep-level mining technology, and global export pipelines. So the question becomes, which African nation combines massive mineral wealth with world-class mining infrastructure, making it the continent's most developed mining powerhouse? The answer is South Africa, the continent's most advanced, structured, and industrialized mining powerhouse. Where the DRC dominates through the sheer volume and strategic importance of its minerals, South Africa dominates through systems, infrastructure, and expertise. This is the country that didn't just discover minerals, it built an entire mining civilization around them. Start with the platinum group metals. South Africa controls the vast majority of global platinum and palladium reserves. These metals are not casual commodities. They are essential for catalytic converters, hydrogen technologies, aerospace components, and high-end electronics. No other African country even comes close to South Africa's influence in this space. The nation effectively sets the tone for the global platinum market. Then there are chromium and manganese, two industrial metals used in steelmaking, energy storage, specialty alloys, and heavy manufacturing. South Africa produces so much of these metals that many countries treat South African output as a benchmark for global supply stability. If South Africa slows down, steel prices rise, factories scramble, and construction markets feel the ripple. But South Africa's real strength is not just the minerals, it is the machinery behind the minerals. Deep-level mining. South Africa mastered it. Refining. South Africa has some of the most advanced smelters in the developing world. Transport networks, rail and port corridors have been built for decades, with mining as the backbone. Research and geological surveying. South Africa has dedicated institutions that study, map, and optimize extraction. This is why global companies trust South Africa in a way they cannot trust many other mineral-rich countries. Investors want not only minerals but predictability, and South Africa's mining ecosystem delivers that, even when the political climate gets complicated. And we cannot ignore gold. For most of the 20th century, South Africa dominated global gold production. While production has declined, the country still sits on some of the world's deepest and most complex gold mines and continues to produce gold at a level most nations cannot match. South Africa's diversified mineral profile means it does not depend on one industry. Instead, it operates a broad mining economy capable of withstanding shocks. For global manufacturers, automakers, and industrial giants, South Africa is the stable, experienced supplier they rely on when they cannot take risks. But South Africa's story also reveals a major pattern. Africa's natural wealth comes in different shapes. Some countries dominate through volume, some through uniqueness, some through energy, some through infrastructure, and some go through a mix of everything. So far, we've explored the mineral titan DRC and the industrial mining empire of South Africa. But now the journey shifts westward, to a country whose power comes from energy and diamonds, a nation whose underground wealth shaped modern geopolitics. Which African country combines massive oil reserves with some of the richest diamond deposits on Earth? The answer lies on Africa's western coast. Let's pause for a second to say, big thank you to the Black Culture Diary community, where Black voices, stories, and legacies are preserved and amplified. By becoming a member, you're not just supporting the channel, you're becoming part of a powerful cultural movement. Let's continue. If the DRC powers global batteries and South Africa powers global industry, Angola powers global energy. For years, it has been one of Africa's top oil producers, feeding the energy grids of Europe, China, and emerging industrial economies. But people who know only Angola's oil story are missing half the truth, because Angola is also home to some of the richest diamond deposits in the world. Let's begin with its most famous strength, oil. Angola's deep-water offshore fields are engineered with some of the most advanced oil extraction technologies on the continent. These fields produce light, high-quality crude that global refineries prefer. Unlike many countries whose oil is tied to political turmoil, Angola has built an oil sector with established operators, long-term contracts, and infrastructure that can support massive output. Oil revenues have historically been the backbone of Angola's economy, shaping everything from urban development to foreign investment flows. But beneath that oil wealth lies an even older treasure, diamonds. The Lunda Norte and Lunda Sul regions produce diamonds of exceptional clarity and size, feeding luxury markets, industrial cutting sectors, and high-precision manufacturing tools. Some of the biggest stones ever auctioned came from Angola's soil. While countries like Botswana are often celebrated for diamond governance, Angola's diamond potential remains staggeringly underdeveloped, meaning much more wealth still waits underground. Yet Angola's story does not end with oil and diamonds. The country is sitting on huge iron ore belts, phosphate deposits, copper veins, and gold reserves that once powered colonial economies. Many of these sectors collapsed during civil conflict, but today they are being revived with new investments and updated geological surveys. Angola is one of the few African countries where untapped mineral wealth could rival or even surpass what has already been extracted. In 2025, Angola is pushing to reduce its over-reliance on oil by accelerating mining diversification. Infrastructure upgrades, special economic zones, and revised mining codes are drawing renewed interest from investors. The government knows that global demand for critical minerals is rising fast, and Angola wants to position itself as the next major multi-resource hub in Africa. But here's what makes Angola especially strategic. Its resources come with geopolitical weight. The world needs Angolan oil to stabilize energy markets. It needs Angolan diamonds to feed both the industrial and luxury sectors. And soon, it may need Angolan copper, iron, and phosphates as global manufacturing scales. With three giants covered, Congo's minerals, South Africa's industrial mining machine, and Angola's oil diamond dominance, the next step in Africa's resource map brings us to something entirely different. A country whose power comes from possessing a mineral found nowhere else on Earth. Which African nation sits on a gemstone so rare that the entire global supply exists in only one location? The answer shines brightly in East Africa. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. While Angola's wealth is built on oil and diamonds, Tanzania's power comes from pure geological exclusivity. Tanzanite is found in just one small region near Mount Kilimanjaro, nowhere else on the planet. That alone puts Tanzania on the global resource map. But the country's story goes far beyond gemstones. Tanzania has become one of Africa's fastest-rising mineral and energy hubs. its gold sector has grown rapidly, pushing the country into the top tier of African gold producers. With global gold demand rising due to financial uncertainty, Tanzania's reserves now play a major role in stabilizing regional markets. Then comes natural gas. The vast gas fields discovered along Tanzania's southern coastline are reshaping the country's economic future. Large-scale LNG projects have attracted international interest because the world needs cleaner-burning fuels as it transitions away from coal. Tanzania sits in a prime position to become East Africa's next major energy exporter. But it doesn't end there. Tanzania is rich in nickel, essential for electric vehicle batteries. It holds iron ore, powering steel production. It has coal, still crucial for many African industries. And with increasing government focus on refining and value addition, Tanzania is no longer content to export raw minerals at low profit. It wants a bigger share of the final value chain. Now shift southwest, and the story becomes even more interesting, because another rising giant is rewriting Africa's future from the desert, Namibia. Namibia has quietly become one of the most important countries in the global energy and mineral landscape. Its uranium mines feed nuclear reactors across Europe and Asia. With nuclear energy resurging worldwide as a clean alternative, Namibia's uranium is becoming indispensable. Next are the marine diamonds, extracted using advanced underwater mining technology. These diamonds are known for exceptional quality and remain one of Namibia's biggest foreign exchange earners. But Namibia's most transformative resource may be lithium, the battery metal shaping the next generation of electric vehicles. New lithium discoveries and expansions have pulled global investors into Namibia, competing for long-term supply as battery manufacturing scales worldwide. And then, the game changer, offshore oil discoveries. The Venus and Graph fields, estimated to be among the most significant in recent years, could turn Namibia into one of Africa's major oil players. If development proceeds as expected, Namibia may soon hold both the minerals and the energy resources needed for the global green transition and for industries that rely on traditional energy sources. Together, Tanzania and Namibia represent the new wave of African resource economies, countries quickly rising in global importance because of the minerals and energy sources they control. But we still haven't completed the top 10. Several other nations spread across West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, and the Indian Ocean hold resources that shape global markets just as much as Congo's cobalt or South Africa's platinum. So the question is, which remaining African countries complete the continent's top tier? Nations whose oil, gas, gold, nickel, graphite, and rare earth minerals will influence global industry for decades to come. The answer begins with Côte d'Ivoire, West Africa's most diversified resource economy. Where other nations depend heavily on one mineral or one energy source, Côte d'Ivoire stands out because it controls multiple high-value sectors at the same time. Gold, nickel, bauxite, and significant offshore petroleum deposits position it as a mineral energy hybrid. Add the world's largest cocoa industry, massive coffee production, palm oil exports, and a booming industrial sector, and you get an economy built on several pillars instead of one. This diversity makes Côte d'Ivoire one of the most resilient and resource-secure countries in Africa. Next is Egypt, a nation whose resources feed both industry and energy. Egypt's gigantic Zohr natural gas field in the Mediterranean transformed it into a regional energy powerhouse in less than a decade. But Egypt doesn't stop at hydrocarbons. It holds major deposits of phosphates, limestone, gypsum, silica, and rare earth elements, all crucial for fertilizers, construction materials, glass manufacturing, and electronics. Unlike many African nations, Egypt has substantial industrial infrastructure, meaning it processes and uses a large portion of its resources domestically before exporting. That manufacturing capability turns raw resources into economic leverage. Then there is South Sudan, one of Africa's richest oil geologies, but also one of its most politically fragile. South Sudan holds enormous untapped oil fields, many of which have not been fully mapped or exploited because of years of conflict. As stability slowly increases, these fields represent one of the continent's biggest future energy opportunities. But South Sudan has more than oil. It holds copper, gold, marble, limestone, and vast zones of fertile agricultural land capable of feeding entire regions. If the country develops the right infrastructure, it could become a powerful East African energy and food supplier. Moving eastward, we reach Burundi, a country small in size but massive in underground value. Burundi holds one of the largest undeveloped nickel reserves in the world. Nickel is essential for electric vehicle batteries, stainless steel, aerospace alloys, and countless industrial components. Burundi also contains rare earth oxides, niobium and tantalum, minerals at the center of electronics, defense technology, and high-performance engineering. Almost all of Burundi's mineral potential remains untouched, making it a sleeping giant in the global resource race. Finally, we arrive at Madagascar, the island that holds the key to the future of global battery technology. Madagascar is a major source of high-grade graphite, a critical component in lithium-ion batteries used in EVs, renewable storage systems, and aerospace energy modules. It also has abundant chromite, ilmenite, mica, cobalt, and rare earth elements, making it a foundational supplier for the global clean energy transition. As battery demand skyrockets, Madagascar's graphite reserves become more valuable every year. These final 5 countries bring together everything Africa represents: diversity, power, and untapped potential. They complete the picture of a continent whose natural resources shape everything from smartphones to satellites, from global energy security to the future of electric mobility. So now the real question becomes, as the world increasingly depends on Africa's natural wealth, will Africa finally gain full control of its resources? Let us know in the comments section. Will the global scramble intensify in the years to come? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.